negative. Those comments coming shortly before CNN's White House team today noticed several instances where the president appeared to doze off during that lengthy cabinet meeting. You can see him here. He's slouched in his chair. His eyes are closed. He sort of abruptly shifts, straightens up. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, later told CNN this, quote, President Trump was listening attentively and running the entire 3-hour marathon cabinet meeting. In all of these historic meetings, the president and his incredible team highlight the exhaustive list of accomplishments they've delivered on behalf of the American people to make America great again. My panel is back. Jamie Gangel, this obviously, I mean, the health of any president is always something that can become the immediate forefront. Obviously, with President Biden, he faced all the questions that he did, especially in the wake of that CNN debate. Obviously, we have the White House there saying the president was listening attentively. But, you know, it doesn't, if you compare clips of him, you know, when he first ran for this job to today, he's older, and this is a job that ages you faster than other jobs.
No question. Look, I'm going to channel one of our contributors, Dr. Jonathan Reiner, who has been a consultant to White House medical staff for years. If you are transparent, you don't have as many questions and problems. And I think one of the big issues here has been that there hasn't been transparency. You see these reports. They're at times laughable. They certainly have omissions in them. And so when something like this happens, we're all going to pay a lot of attention to it.
Scott Jennings, why did the president decide to talk about this MRI that he had out of the blue? Because, you know, it wasn't, he had gone, he'd had his exams, and then he was asked a question, and he said, oh, I had an MRI, right? And then, you know, some weeks go by, and he says he's got an MRI, but doesn't know what part of his body. What's going on with the president that's something that he feels like he needs to say in public?
I don't know. Look, I can only speak from personal experience. I saw the man a few days ago in the Oval Office for about an hour. He looked and sounded fine to me. We talked about a wide range of issues. There were people coming and going. It was as bustling as it's ever been in there when I've been in there. And I didn't notice anything at all. And so I watched most of the cabinet meeting today, which took a very long time because it lasted 3 hours. And at the end of it, the president then did his customary gaggle with the press and answered all of their questions. I honestly think this is an attempt to create a narrative about this guy that just doesn't exist because Democrats are so butthurt over having to live through the humiliation of the White House under Biden, claiming he was fine when he clearly wasn't. They want to transfer that to Donald Trump. It's just not the same. It's not true. And, you know, I can only speak from my personal experience. It seemed fine to me.
Mark Short, you worked in close proximity to President Trump over many years. What say you?
Look, I have a lot of challenges with the second administration policies relative to the first administration policies, but I don't question the president's stamina. I don't question it at all. I think that relative, of course, to his predecessor, there's a stark contrast. And look, if I had to sit through a meeting that long, I'd probably fall asleep too. So
I will say I slept through college classes that long. I mean, you know, maybe I shouldn't cop to that on national TV, but right. I was in my 20s, you know.
So I feel like this is a little bit barking up the wrong tree here about the president's stamina.
Mo?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a lot of people running campaign ads that focus on whether or not he was dozed off. Like, I don't, you know, I do think it's a little weird that I don't think I've ever had an MRI and not known what I was getting the MRI for. But, you know, separate from that, I don't think people care whether or not the president looks like he's falling asleep. I think they worry about whether or not he's falling asleep on the job when it comes to bringing prices and cost of living down. That's what I hope all Democrats talk about over the course of the next year, heading into the midterms, because I think that's a very real concern a lot of people have.
Scott Jennings, how concerned do you think the White House is about, I mean, obviously they gave a statement to us after there was a story written about this. Is this something that keeps them up at night or not?
No, I don't think so. Look, he's, you know, the guy conducts business all day, every day, and he does most of it in public. I mean, that's the one thing about this presidency. You got people coming in and out of the Oval Office all the time, often in full view of the press. They don't really hide him. I mean, he's out there answering questions and doing things almost every day. So no, I don't. In fact, I think the only thing, if I were in their shoes, I'd be worried about is how do I find more time to get him out on the road even more? Because ultimately, he's the party spokesperson. If we're going to have a debate about, you know, who's better for the economy, he's going to have to be the one that leads it and draw the bright line between the two parties. And so if I were in their shoes, I'd be looking to get him out on the road and explaining why our policies are better than theirs. And he did it successfully in 24, and they got a bank that he can do it again in 26.
I would just say he's very sensitive about it. There's no question. I mean, he attacked Katie Rogers of the New York Times for the article that she wrote, and the cabinet meeting, one of the reasons it went on so long today was he did a whole treatise on his health. And so he's clearly, you know.
Have you ever met a 79-year-old man that wasn't? I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
And he's constantly being pinged. He's constantly being attacked unfairly for having something wrong. There's nothing wrong with this man. He's clearly fine, and he's up all hours of the night communicating with the American people, and yet he still has to face these ridiculous attacks.
Scott,
he might be sensitive, too.
You may be right, but we certainly don't know it from his medical reports.
All right, we unfortunately have to leave it there. We'll be right back.
Watch The Lead, next on CNN.